Hey everyone, we're back. Another episode, FGC Behind the Smoke, baby.
Every
Boris, how you
week.
doing?
I'm great, buddy. How are you?
Doing great, man. Every week, all week.
Every week. Better when I see your face and when I hear Francesco's voice, you know?
Yeah. How's things over there? Pretty good?
It's good, buddy. Yeah. Yeah. It's getting a little bit more cold, but it's all good. I got my trail camera set up. Did you see that?
Yeah, I did. You sent me some pictures of were those deer there too?
Yeah, yeah. Deer, kangaroos. There was a couple of wombats and a couple of pictures, but I don't think I'll be hunting those anytime soon. Um,
They have a hard ass.
yeah, that's right. If you're an avid listener, you would know that.
Yeah.
But yeah, when you want to
um,
come down, buddy, it's open season hunting. We can go whenever. So
Absolutely. What kind of deer do they have down there?
just some imported ones from England, I think. Some dude just brought them in to hunt them, and then they went wild, and now
Oh,
there's
no
too
way.
many of them. Yeah. So
Sweet.
yeah,
Right on. Okay, well, hey, listen, why don't we get back on topic here?
yeah. For those who stayed and listened,
Yeah. So Boris, what's our episode about today?
today, Damo, we're gonna be talking about Probies, do's and don'ts.
Yeah.
Something that was asked of us from some of our listeners. So it's kind of a request episode, and it makes sense. Like if you guys got hired, or if you're just in that kind of position where you're about to be a probationer, this could be a really good episode for you.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Um so this is definitely a really good one to listen to for those of you who are just getting hired, just starting. There's going to be some pretty good valuable information in here and yeah, it's going to be fun. We're going to have fun.
That's right. It's just going to be a quick blast. Like we're going to go through all the do's that we have, all the don'ts, and just kind of
Yeah.
chat about them as we go through. And yeah, like Dumb said, should be a good time here.
So Boris, what did we have here for number 1?
Okay, buddy. Let's start with it. Let's start with all the do's. Do show up early and ready.
That's right. So, you don't need to be there like an hour early or something crazy like that, but you should definitely be there, 20 minutes earlier or whatever. And show up ready means, right when you get there, you get right into your station gear, your uniform, and just you want to be ready, right? Because you're all eyes are on you as the probationer, right? So
Yeah, you should be the most keen guy in that place, right? Or gal. So, like Adamo said, show up early. Be the first one there out of your crew. Be the first one everywhere you go, right? Always be that early front person for anything.
yeah,
And also sometimes like you might catch a call, right, with the other crew, with the previous shift's crew. So getting there a little bit earlier will give you potentially even more experience down the line.
yeah, exactly, and also give you a good reputation too, right? If you're there early and you jump on a call with the crew from that shift, they see that and they see that you're eager and yeah,
Yeah,
it's a good look.
totally. And just always confirm, chain of command with the captain of that rig, like if it's okay for you to come on because you would be that extra person or, maybe they have different plans. So just verify, always check. And most of the time, the captain or the officer on that rig is going to say yes, right?
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Okay, buddy. Number two, uh,
Number 2,
do learn the apparatus.
yeah. So you want to know where every tool is, right? How it works, putting it back in its proper spot if you've taken it off. Um, if a firefighter or an officer or somebody asks you, "Hey, can you go grab the chainsaw?" They don't want to hear you opening every cabinet on the apparatus trying to find it. You should have it memorized where everything on that apparatus is.
Totally. Some departments will let you take pictures of all the compartments so you can learn them at home. Some departments will give you like a list of all the tools that are on there. But yeah, like Adamo said, you got to know all that off the top of your head because if you're at a call and you need a chainsaw, it's not a good look opening 5 compartments to get to it, right?
No, exactly. And like I personally think that this is one of the most important things that you can focus on in your first couple shifts at the hall. in my opinion, because when you're going to calls and stuff like that, like you said, Boris, like you don't want to be asked to grab something and then not know where it is, and then you're just stalling, right? You're essentially wasting time at that point, right? So try and memorize where everything is.
I 100% agree with you. Like most fire crews will tell their probies, like, okay, you should learn the rigs ASAP. And that's going to be one of the first things you do. So if you can jump on it early, yeah, all the more power to you. And it's just one less thing to worry about down the line as you're a probationer. You get more and more info piled on top of you, right?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So,
What's our next one?
uh, number three, do ask smart questions. Um, so if you don't know something, ask. It's totally fine. Uh, but try and only ask once, right? If you're a forgetful person, write it down, right? You don't want to keep repeating the same question over and over again. It's just gonna make you look bad and kind of make you look like you don't really care or that you're super forgetful, right?
Yeah. And like that kind of title says, ask smart questions. Like if you can figure it out on your own 5 minutes from now, don't ask that question.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
so true.
It's just, yeah. Having that notepad and pen is so key. Like Adamo said, like you want to be writing this stuff down. If you can have, I find, I don't know how it was with you, Adamo, on probation, but like I had a notepad in every pocket. So like pants pocket, shirt pocket, bunker pant pocket, bunker shirt
Yeah,
pocket, you know?
yeah, yeah. I
Um,
was the same, and then also more than one pen.
yeah. Yeah, they always crap out. You know, you're out in the elements. Maybe you're at an MVI and it's raining. Yeah, pens break, they leak, they just run out of ink because you're using them so much. So yeah, definitely have a few on you.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So yeah, just make sure if you have a question about something, ask it. Like Boris said, don't have a question about something that you can very easily find out for yourself, right? Because that just kind of shows that you'd rather just take the easy way and just ask somebody rather than try and learn it for yourself. But if you do have a good, meaningful question, feel free to ask it. But yeah, write it down.
Yeah, like for example, a good question would be how many axes are supposed to be on this rig? So I know every time I check that there's the right amount, right? That's like a good question. A bad question is how many are on the rig right now? It's like, dude, just go check.
Yeah,
Why are you asking?
yeah,
Um,
yeah, exactly.
so that's kind of like what we mean by ask like smart questions and yeah, go on with that. The next one kind of runs into that almost like as a probationer, do take initiative. What do you think about that, Adamo?
Yeah, for me, like this is one of the most important things in my personal opinion. Take the initiative to do things. You see dishes, clean them. Is the garbage full? Take it out. You don't want to be that person who's waiting to be told to do stuff. You should be a self-starter and you should take that initiative to get things done around the hall, right? Clean things up, make sure everything's nice and organized, right? There's always stuff to do,
Yeah,
right?
it's like
So if you're sitting around like, oh, I don't really have anything to do, find something to do because I guarantee you'll be able to find something.
yeah. So many times like you'll maybe go to a slower haul and like the tools are rusty. It's like I know you've had the time to clean these tools. You open up these
Yeah.
compartments every day to check them. You see that they're rusty. Take 10 minutes out of your day to get them back into shape, right?
And it doesn't go unnoticed, right?
Hmm.
Um, if you're doing that kind of stuff, the crew's going to notice it. They're going to notice that you're, staying busy, you're getting stuff done that needs to be done. You're, a self-starter. You're kind of starting up your own little projects to improve things around the hall and, the tools on the apparatus. Like you said, if an axe is rusty, well, clean the rust off of it, right? It's pretty simple.
Yeah. And it also like just helps you figure out where stuff is. Like, okay, well, where are all those cleaning tools at? How often do these things rust? It's just like sometimes guys will throw a piece of paper on the ground in the middle of the hallway and just see if it gets picked up by the probie. Right? It's
Yeah.
it's not it's
Yeah,
not uncommon.
exactly. Yeah, the crews will test you, right? To see how you are and how you behave and stuff like that. And so, yeah, if you see something that needs to be done, just do it.
Yeah, they'll test that initiative for sure.
Yeah. What do we got next there, Boris?
Master the basics.
Yeah.
Pretty
So,
good one.
and when we say master the basics, we mean the stuff that you're going to learn in training, right?
Mhm.
Stretching lines, throwing ladders, tying knots, like your kind of bread and butter um, core firefighting skills, right? You want to master these. You want to be able to have the crew take you to go do a drill and you just nail those drills, those basics that you learned in training, right? So, and in order to do that, you also have to be able to retain information and study at home too.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you said, these are basic core firefighter like 1001 skills. You should be coming into the job knowing, parts of the ladder, knowing parts of the Halligan, knowing how to tie a bowline. Like these are these are things that you should come in with so that you can focus on the more important stuff with your crew.
Yeah,
You know?
exactly.
And we keep repeating it, like just studying at home, like just because you clock out after a 24-hour or 12-hour shift doesn't mean that the work's done. Like as a probationer, you should be going home and you should be studying the things that you screwed up on and the things that you checked are not as strong as they should be, right? For those core
Mm.
skills.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Um, what do we got here?
Keep your gear squared away. That's a good
Yeah.
one.
Okay, that is a good one. So keep your gear squared away. Put away properly. Um, keep know where everything is in your pockets, right? Like if you have a screwdriver, it's in your front right pant pocket. Like always keep it there so you always know where it is, right? So keep everything squared away nicely. Um, like your even the way that you put your gear away, like how you hang up your gear and stuff like that, make sure it looks nice and clean and organized.
Yeah, exactly. And guys will mess around with you if you screw that up. Like if you leave your gear out, if you leave your tags out, you don't be surprised if you come back next shift and they're not in the spot you left them, or they're in a way funnier spot, you know.
Yeah.
Have you ever had your gear hung up or you know?
I haven't had my gear hung up. No, no.
No.
But um, I think one time actually it was close to getting hung up, and I think you saved my ass on that one when we were on probation. I'm pretty sure.
I do remember saving somebody's because they were just planning on what to do with it. I'm like, oh, let me just grab that real quick.
That was mine. That was 100% mine. Because I remember your crew called me, and they're like,
Uh,
"Yeah, don't worry about it. Boris has your gear for you." And then they hung up. I was like, "Oh shit."
I think I left
So
my bedding out once when I was on probation. I don't know. I think we just got hammered a night and I just forgot about it. We were busy. And then I come back and it's just in the gym, like 20 feet up in the air. It's like, ah, those are my cheats. So yeah, it happens, guys. Like, everybody will sometimes forget something, but try not to. Like Adamo said, if you have a spot for everything on your gear, then it's easier to know. Like, if you borrow a radio or a flashlight from the fire hall, and you're using it on shift, well, you should check that flashlight and radio before the end of your shift to be able to put that back, right?
yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Okay, buddy. What's another do on this list here?
Respect the chain of command. So obviously, a very important one. Uh, I feel like respect it, but also understand it. Understand the culture. Understand the structure. Uh, don't skip over talking to your, you know, officer to talk to the chief, right? You need to be able to follow that chain of command and understand that this is a paramilitary organization, right?
Yeah, always find the most junior guy after you there and go to him first because sometimes they might even be like, "No, don't be an idiot. Don't ever ask this question again," type of thing, right? They might stop you from doing something stupid.
Yeah.
Um, so it's always like Adamo said, just good going through your chain of command and getting the information across. I think we're going to actually have an episode on like the command structure and ranks later down the line.
Yes, we are. I forgot about that.
That's because yeah, I think that's important obviously for somebody starting and coming from a different background than like a military, paramilitary background. But um yeah, yeah, unless there's a serious problem. That's one thing that we should point out. Like if you see something that's illegal or unsafe or unethical, those are things that you absolutely can go to your superior officer for, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I'm
th-
I'm glad you mentioned that, Boris, because yeah, there are certain situations where following the chain of command isn't really the right move, right? Like if it's something,
Mhm.
say you're on the fire ground or something like that, you see something super unsafe happening, or someone's going to get hurt or something, and you see like an officer beside you, and you can bring it up to them, right?
Yeah, and they're not going to give you crap for it either. Just be aware of that.
Yeah, yeah. So, yeah. So respect the chain of command, follow the chain of command, understand it. What's our next one, Boris?
We have, do you keep your mouth shut and ears open?
Yeah. So what do we mean by that?
Well, we've said it before, 2 years, one mouth, right? So talk less, listen more, especially in those first 6 months or a year, whatever your probation is. There's just so much to learn, right? That nobody really wants to hear your opinion on things until you've proven yourself and have mastered the basics, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So true, right? So, like you said, we've said it before, 2 years, one mouth. It just means you want to be listening twice as much as you're talking. And also like be aware of like when it's appropriate for you to be able to like chime in and say something and when it's not
Mhm.
too, right? Because especially on probation, it's a lot better for you to just stay quiet and just learn rather than trying to give your inputs on things that you don't really know anything about, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And like you said, there is a time and a place. And if you have, like we said earlier in this episode, if you have valid questions, if there's a safety concern, speak up. Like you're still a human, you're still treated as a human. It's just you're expected to listen a lot more than talk in that first six months to a year, right?
Yeah.
I keep that in mind, guys. Especially at like the dinner table. Nobody really wants to hear your war stories. Um, just
Yeah.
just pour the waters or just clean up the dishes.
Yeah, exactly. You don't want to draw unwanted attention to yourself, that's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. What's the next one after that, Adamo?
Take notes and study at home.
Yeah.
So, this is important, right? Because a lot of the times you're going to get asked quite a few questions, whether it be at the dish pit or, depending on department, they might do things a bit differently. But make sure you take notes of questions that you're asked or new things that you've learned because it could come up down the road, right? Where, say the next shift, a guy comes up to you and says, "Hey, that question that I asked you, you never got back to me on." And then you're like, "Oh, crap, I forgot what the question is." Right? I forgot
Yeah.
what you asked me. Right? So take notes on that kind of stuff and then make sure you're studying at home for because you're going to have a probationer test eventually that you're going to have to do. Make sure you're studying for all that stuff, studying your NFPA stuff, going over the drills that you did while you were on shift, like the mistakes that you made, where you could have improved.
Mm.
Um, yeah, like it's not like you just get hired and that's it. You're in, right? You still have to pass your probation, right? And the best way to pass your probation is by knowing your stuff and doing a good job. And in order to do that, you do have to spend time at home studying as well.
Yeah, and believe us when we say this, we'll know which probationers have studied at home, which haven't, because
Oh, 100%.
things will just pile up, and like you said, they'll not get back to guys on questions. They'll stumble on the basics like 1001 stuff, and then when you ask them something a little bit harder or something else pops up, it's just gonna pile on, and they're just gonna get crushed, right? So.
Yeah,
Uh,
100%.
you do have to study at home. The work life balance with firefighting is so good that there really is no excuse. Even if you have kids, tons of probationers throughout the years in the fire service have had kids when they were on probation, and they find a time, right?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, there's really no excuses. Um, I think that one's pretty self-explanatory. So,
Yeah.
what's our next one?
The last one we have for the do's is do own your own mistakes. So if you screw up, admit it immediately, right?
Yeah, fix it, don't repeat it. Right. Um, integrity is such a huge thing in the fire service, and also nobody wants to hear like you try and blame your mistakes on other people or make excuses for it. Um, just own up to it. Just say, hey, you know what, I fucked up. My bad. This is, a learning lesson for me. I'm not going to let this happen again. Right. As opposed to you being like, well, it's just because of this or it's because of that. Like, nobody wants to hear your bullshit excuses.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've even said it on this episode. Like we've made mistakes. You forgot your gear on the ground. I forgot my bedding as a probationer. Like you're gonna make mistakes, but own up to it. Like, yeah, I screwed up. That won't happen again. I'm sure you didn't leave your gear out in any near future after that, or
But
I
that was the only time I've ever done that.
right? And same thing with my bedding. Like I never left my bedding after that. So it's just learn from your mistakes, own up to them, don't blame anybody else, and move on. And that's essentially what the fire service is. And if you can do it in your probation, then you're that much better off in the future as well, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Pretty straightforward, like pretty obvious stuff, right? So, um, just, yeah, keep that in mind, right? Like if you mess something up or, whatever the case may be, it's always better to just own up to it and admit that you messed up and, you learn from it and you move on, right?
Yeah. You ready to go to the do's? Oh, sorry, the don'ts for the probies?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so first one, don't be on your phone.
Yeah, I
So,
hate that, dude. I don't know. I just hate it.
yeah,
Ah,
like you don't need to be on your phone unless if like, I think we talked about this in one of our episodes, Boris, where we said like, don't have your phone on you, but there are certain times when, you have to have your phone on you, like say, you're waiting for a call from a doctor or your family member is going into surgery or whatever there's
yeah.
certain situations that come up in life where you do have to have your phone on you. Um, but if something like that happens, it's best to tell your officer or your next, senior firefighter and just say, hey, this is happening. Would it be okay if I kept my phone on me? I am expecting a phone call for this reason. Usually they're gonna like I can't ever see anybody saying no if it's a legitimate reason, right?
Yeah, like
Um,
most officers that, they're good. They're people too. They understand. They'll let you. It's their call, and yeah, you're still part of the team. It's just you have higher standards as a probationer at that time regarding that kind of stuff, right?
yeah, yeah, because you're still trying to prove yourself, right? And the crew doesn't know you that well. Um, so
Yeah,
yeah, just leave your phone like in your locker or whatever. Lunch break if you want to go quickly check it. I think that's totally fine. But when it's not lunch break or when it's not, say, bedtime or whatever, leave that thing in your locker.
yeah. It's there's nothing I hate more than like seeing like a probationer in the morning, you know, everyone's just talking about shift change and everything else, and they're on their phone. It's like there's so many more important things you could be doing right now.
Yeah,
You could be getting info from your other probationer about how the shift went. You could be cleaning, you could be doing the dishes, you could be pouring coffees, you could be studying. It's just why are you on your phone? You just got to shift. You had all morning to be on your phone before you got in, So it's just not a good look, guys, as a probationer, unless, like Adamo said, you have a family emergency or an issue, right?
yeah. Can
Um,
I can I add something to that?
of course you may.
Okay. One of my one of my biggest pet peeves is like you see it all the time on social media and stuff. It's like, a firefighter in their fire gear, a picture of that on like dating apps and stuff like that. Can you please not do that? Like, can you please not be that guy? Like or gal. Like it's so cringy.
Yeah. Or like working out in your gear as a probationer. First of all, like you should not be taking that stuff home because it's work clothes, right? You should only be
Yeah.
taking it home maybe to wash it. That's it. But like now you're like exposing that at the gym or wherever you're taking a profile picture at, right? All these carcinogens, all this nasty stuff. And yeah, it just doesn't look good, man. It's just
No.
it is
Drives me
cringy.
nuts. It drives me nuts. It's like, and
Yeah.
then they always have that quote like, "I fight what you fear," or whatever the fuck it is. You're like, shut the fuck up. You're a volunteer somewhere. You've never even been on a real fire. Like,
Yeah, yeah, for sure, man. And that's like another episode I think we'll have eventually is like difference between volunteer and career. And essentially, like we are the same. Like we do everything the same. You know, you and I were volunteers before we were career, but like
yeah,
don't be that person. Like we all know it's a small world. We all know each other. We know how many calls you go to. Like just keep it off social media. Just
yeah. Hey,
uh
like it's I think it's totally fine if you have a picture of yourself, or like say your wife and kid come to visit you at the fire hall and you get like a nice family picture in front of the fire truck. Like
totally.
that's cool. Like I think that's totally acceptable. But yeah, if you're out there on the dating apps and you're just you got these cringy hero firefighter pictures of yourself on there, it's just like, come on. Like your
Yeah,
next picture is probably you holding a fish, isn't it? Like
100%.
all right, let's
Okay,
get back on track.
let's do it. Let's do it. The second don't for probies, we have don't complain or whine.
Yeah. Yeah, no, honestly, nobody gives a shit about what you have to complain about or what you're whining about. Like you should be super positive. You shouldn't be complaining or whining about anything because guess what? There's a lineup of people who are just waiting to get the job next. So if you're there complaining about shit, well, you know what? Go find a different job.
Yeah, you weren't drafted into the fire service, you know, you chose to be here.
No.
You went through the process. Like, yeah, and that kind of goes back to like knowing the job too. You're probably going to whine a lot less as a probationer. Well, you shouldn't whine at all, but like you should whine a lot. You will whine a lot less if you know the job, right? You know it's going to suck at sometimes. You know the weather is going to have an effect because you work outside. You know that your crew might give you a hard time because you don't know stuff. You know you're going to have to go home study. Like, yeah, all those things sometimes do suck, but like don't whine about it.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. You know what you signed up for, right? The and like we said before, the job isn't all rainbows and butterflies. Like there's parts of the job that do suck at times, but you know what? We know what we signed up for, and that's the job, and you just make the best of it, right? In those times. So if you're gonna be complaining and whining about shit, tough drills or whatever, I don't know, then this isn't the job for you.
Yeah, totally. And I mean, probation we've said is like the easiest job in the world. You just do what you're told. Wait until you're, mentoring someone or driving or, being an
Yeah.
officer. Like it gets way harder. So if you're whining now, yeah, maybe it's time to just pack it in early.
Yeah, exactly. What's our next one here, Boris? I like this one.
Yeah, yeah. I like the negatives because it just brings back memories of some crappy probies. Don't try to act like you know everything.
Don't be a goddamn know-it-all.
Yeah, yeah. And it's actually, I find it's a little more common with a bit more senior probationers. So, like guys that are in their 30s, maybe even like early 40s, who've been their own boss or, you
Mhm.
know, have had different jobs where they were on top and now all of a sudden they're on the bottom again. And yeah, um, you don't know anything. Like, just again, 2 years, one mouth. Like, shut up.
Yeah. Yeah, don't be a know-it-all. Don't act like you know everything. Because in reality, you don't. Like, you've been on this job like 2 seconds, right? Like, you have no clue. Um, and just getting into like discussions with your crew and trying to act like you know what you're talking about when sometimes you don't. Could end up just you know leaving you embarrassed, right? Um,
Yeah,
you know,
and
go ahead.
oh, sorry. I was just gonna say, like, uh, even I just forgot what I was gonna say now. The whole like you being nice to me and letting me go ahead.
Sorry.
It's like-
But yeah, don't be a know-it-all.
yeah,
Don't act like you know everything. It's really pretty simple.
yeah. Oh, I remember what I was gonna say. It's like we respect who you are as a person. We want to hear your opinion. You obviously like bring stuff from your life and your aspects of experience that are probably valuable to us, but not when you're a probie. Like just do the work. We need to see how you act in certain aspects, and that's one of them. Just we don't need your opinion at this moment. We'll ask for it at a later time, and just play the game, man. That's it. You know.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, Boris, what's our next one?
Don't disappear.
What the fuck? Well,
I've seen
if you
that
do, we'll
happen.
put your picture on a milk carton.
Yeah, there's do you remember in Band of Brothers there was like that one officer, it was like later down when they were in Bastogne and he would
Yeah.
always disappear. They're like, where did that guy go, man?
Yeah.
Just anytime you need them, they're just gone.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Um
remember that.
it's and it happens with some probies. Like I've had probies who just hide. It's like you have to be visible at times. Your crew has to see you working. Don't
Yeah.
go into like the third floor of the hose tower and like write in your journal, you know, just
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Be
um
present. Don't yeah, don't just don't hide. Like, sometimes like new guys they'll hide, right? Like maybe they're nervous or whatever. Don't hide, be in the mix, right?
mhm.
Uh, you know, like you said, Boris, like you want the crew to see you working and doing stuff, right?
Yeah. It kind of goes back to like the do's, like do take initiative, right? Do be the first one to something because guys will notice that as well. Like if you're hiding, if you're avoiding what could potentially be an embarrassing situation for you or where you're in front of a bunch of people, that's not good, right? Like an example I can have is, you have 20 kids come by the fire hall and they want to have a fire hall tour. Well, don't be that probie who probably anticipates that he's going to be in front of the 20 kids and goes and hides, right? Because the crew will notice that.
Yeah, 100%.
Get out there, say hi to the kids, open up the bay door if it's okay with the officer, right? Show them the trucks. Um, be in the mix, like Adamo said, right? Be present.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So, let's see here. What's our next one here?
Ugh. Don't challenge senior members.
Yeah.
I've had a problem with this one a couple of times, I gotta admit.
Hey, admitting it's the first step, Boris.
But yeah, I mean, this is again, this is your probation, your 6 months that we're talking about, right? You don't want to be challenging senior members, especially
Yeah.
arguing and especially in your probation, right?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Ask questions with, respect, right? Uh, defer to experience. But yeah, it's yeah. If you're on probation, it's not really your place to be challenging, you know, senior firefighters or officers, thinking that you know better or whatever, right? So
Yeah.
just don't
Y-
do that.
Yeah.
Right, Boris?
Yeah.
Right, Boris?
Hey,
Don't don't do that, right?
I said I've done it. I didn't say I did it on probation. Okay. But yeah, guys, it's just not a good look. And that's your crew, right? Like those are the guys and gals that are supposed to have your back. They're supposed to watch over you, make sure that you get home to your family safe, and you're supposed to do the same for them. Like, don't be arguing with them. Um, yeah, you're there to like back each other up and keep each other safe. The last thing you want to do is like break up that cohesion, right?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Cool.
Next one. We yeah, I feel like we've beaten this one into the ground
Let's
like
punch it a couple more times.
almost
Let's-
every episode. Don't slack on fitness. Like you should be one of the fittest people on the crew, right?
Yeah.
Um, it's so important in this line of work to be fit, and that doesn't mean you have to be like some, fucking Abercrombie model. You know what I mean? Like it just means,
Like us.
yeah, yeah, exactly like us. But you should be exercising regularly. You should have a workout routine that is going to benefit you in this job. It's going to help out with your strength, your cardio, your conditioning, your endurance. Um, yeah, you just and this is something that we've talked about before, where like being fit isn't a course that you can just take over a weekend, right? It takes time. So like if you're applying to become a firefighter, like you need to start. Like you can't be like, oh, I'll once I get hired on, I'll start working out. It's like no, because you're probably not going to get hired on,
Yeah.
right?
And
If you're
you're
not
not
fit
gonna
enough.
exactly, and you're not going to be working out probably in your probation. Depending on the fire department, like a lot of fire departments will not give you the time to be working out as you should be learning other things, right?
Yeah,
So you need to be fit and you need to be fit on your own time. And all eyes are on you as a probie. Like if you can't pull hose as a probationer, how are you going to do it 30 years down the line when your back is sore, your knees are busted, and you
yeah,
have 20 more pounds on you? Like, no way.
exactly. So yeah, don't slack off on your fitness, right? On your days off, you should be working out and working out hard.
Yeah. I
Uh,
we kill that horse. We get to move on and
yeah, yeah, yeah. We killed it. We killed it a long time ago. I
yeah.
can't wait to talk about it again next episode.
Yeah, stay tuned.
Next one. This is an important one too. Don't get caught gossiping. Um, there's politics and gossip involved in any job you're going to go to, right?
Mhm.
But the fire service for sure is a bit of a breeding ground for rumors and gossip and stuff like that. Um, try and stay out of it. Like, stay out of it for sure if you're on probation. Like, don't get
Yeah.
involved in it at all. Um, but even like as you progress in your career, right? You got to remember that there's two sides to every story.
Mhm.
So if you're hearing rumors at the kitchen table, the reality of it is that probably 50% of that, if not more, is not true or is fabricated or is what's the word I'm looking for? Come on, help me out here.
Yeah, it's fabricated I thought was a wonderful word, actually.
Uh, when something's over the top,
Oh, exaggerated.
exaggerated. There it is. All right.
Yeah,
See,
yeah,
you're the brain and I'm the brawn.
yeah, that's right. And yeah, like I 100% agree. Like, sometimes I've heard it from probies or like 1 or 2 year guys like talk about or gossiping about people that are not even on the job anymore or were on the job long before these people got hired or they did something stupid long before these people got hired. So it's like, what are you talking about? Like you weren't even there for it. You weren't even hired at that time.
I know,
Like
isn't it? Yeah, it's it's that's
it,
what like yeah, that's one of the things that I find for myself that I really try and stay away from is the rumors and the gossip.
yeah, it's tough sometimes. Obviously, people do things that others love talking about, but the best way that I've been told about it or the best way that I kind of look at it is the highest form of conversation is ideas. Okay.
Yeah,
Then it goes events and then it goes people. So people is the lowest form of conversation. Um, so as everything else in the fire service, you should be elevating everything that you do. Elevate your conversation as well. Stay away from the gossip about people. Try to stay away from events, even though current events are easy to talk about. Talk about ideas. Hey, what do we do if we, you know, what do you think about this new diameter of hose? Or like, what do you think about bringing this apparatus in? Or, it doesn't have to be always fire service related, but elevate it to the ideas, right?
absolutely. Yeah, I like that. Yeah.
And I think you'll find a lot of very driven guys, and even on our job, like guys I respect them most, always talk about, what ifs, ideas, different techniques, different
How to
concepts,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Yeah.
That's the kind of stuff you guys want to be talking about, especially on probation. Like if you are going to talk about something, and it's your time to pipe up, like talk about ideas, maybe some events, but try to stay away from talking about other people and gossip because it's the lowest form, right?
Yeah, it really is. Okay, what's next?
Don't
Half-assed housework. Don't do it.
Yeah, yeah, pretty straightforward. So like we brought it up earlier, like do master everything and keep everything squared away. Well, don't do the opposite, right? The guys will notice.
Yeah. Your attitude on small jobs reflects your reliability on the big ones, right?
Totally.
Yeah. So just, take pride in what you do, right? I mean, if you're scrubbing a toilet, like do a good job of scrubbing that toilet, right? Make
Yeah.
sure it's sparkling clean.
Yeah, absolutely. Because like you said, your attitude on the small jobs reflects your attitude on big ones. Like that's a no-brainer. If you can't do the simplest thing, is how are you going to do them when it gets more complicated?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So,
Cool.
what do we got for our next one here, buddy? Where are
Don't
we?
hide your weaknesses.
Oh yeah. If you can't do something, just own up to it and then learn how to do it and, become good at it, right?
Yeah,
Um
fake it before you
like you
make it is not really like an ethos for fire service. You
no,
should
absolutely not.
you should probably know your stuff. And if you don't, yeah, tell somebody about it. Chain of command again, right? Most likely.
Yeah. If you know you're weak in one area, um it's a great thing then for you to focus on that area, right? And
Mm.
to make it better so it's no longer a weakness.
Yeah, absolutely. Like when I was on probation, what I like doing is when I was weak at something, I would find somebody who's really good at that one thing and just kind of bug them. Obviously, again, like the chain of command and respect and all that stuff, but like learn from people that are much better at something than you because you're going to find that in the fire service guaranteed,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, for sure. So, do we have one more? Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
Don't break confidentiality.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, you're gonna go to calls. People's could be their worst day ever, or
Mhm.
you might even go to a call where someone. Um, just you don't want to be spreading that around, right? Like what happens on the call kind of stays on the call in a sense, right?
Mhm.
Um, but
Yeah,
yeah,
if it
and also just departmental stuff too, right?
Yeah, again, if it's like an unsafe, unlawful thing, like yeah, obviously you like go through your chain of command or go to the right people, right?
Yeah,
But don't talk about people's worst days, right? If it breaks confidentiality, don't bring that stuff home to your family. Don't talk about, fire hall stuff that is really just kind of like you're basically like showing your what's this saying, like airing your dirty laundry, right? You don't want to be
yeah,
doing that, um especially again as a probationer. Like you don't have the entire picture. You only know so little of that department, of that fire service. um
yeah,
you don't want to be spreading things, and like we said earlier, like you can only at most get 50% of the story at times. So why are you gonna spread that around, right?
yeah, yeah, exactly.
And it can come
So
back on you. Like that probie was doing what? And then you might get a phone call from that person being like, "Hey, what
yeah,
what
what
are you
the fuck
doing?"
are you doing?
Yeah. So, yeah, guys, if you're on probation or about to be on probation, hopefully these do's and don'ts are, some of them you probably knew already, but like they're pretty important in the fire service and they'll set you up for success in our opinion.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So
So we have just created our Patreon program and it's online. We'll put a link in the description of this episode. It's got all our freebies on there. So it's got resume templates, the interview checklist,
the competitive edge checklist.
Yeah, competitive edge checklist.
And we're also going to be diving into more in-depth interview episodes and hiring process stuff. And we're going to be posting it on there. It really does help us out because then we're able to pay Francesco for producing this podcast. If it wasn't for him, we'd be hooped.
You guys missed the part where we were just trying to turn this microphone on before this episode.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we wouldn't be anywhere without him. So we'd like to start paying him a lot more.
And it's also going to be a way for us to just upgrade to better audio equipment, better cameras, better lighting, and all that kind of stuff to bring you guys a better experience with this podcast.
Yeah, and that was your idea actually, Damo, with the whole going over every interview question kind of in depth and really getting into the interview panel stuff.
Yeah, we'll be going into that in really great detail, really breaking apart the questions and just talking about like what they're actually asking in these questions, right? And yeah, it's going to be good. It's going to be a lot of info, a lot of really, really good info.
And if it's not, let us know. We also have a chat group in there as well on Patreon.
That's right.
So if there's, guests you want us to see, bring on, or if there's questions you want us to ask or talk about on the podcast, you're more than welcome to ask us on there.
Yeah, for sure. And like when it comes to those behavioral / situational type questions, we can break down a question and talk about it for probably half an hour.
Yeah.
Right. Just one question.
Easily.
So there's going to be a lot of really good info on that. And like we said, it's going to really help support the podcast so we can upgrade better equipment and also keep Francesco around so that way there is a podcast.
Chaining him down to the table would be too cruel.
Yeah. Right on. Boris, you got anything else to add to this one?
Don't be a dumbass.
Yeah.
You'll screw up. You'll screw up on probation, guaranteed, but own up
Everyone
to it.
does.
Yeah. And it is what it is. Just move on, try to be better, and that's all you can do every day. Oh, quick thing about that confidentiality thing too. Like the amount of people that don't know what HIPAA is or like PHIPA for Canada, it's staggering. It's like you could also be sued for any kind of private information that you share with people. So just be aware of that. You are in the public eye, you're in public trust, and yeah, just do better.
Yeah, right on. Well, we hope you guys enjoyed this episode. A lot of good, valuable information there. And yeah, like, comment, subscribe, follow us on Instagram. Yeah.
Send us weird texts. I'll give you Francesco's phone number and you guys can send it his way and he'll filter them through.
Right on. Thanks for listening, guys.
Thanks.